everybody. How are you doing? How is everyone doing? Say hi to me. Can you hear me okay? How is your morning going? Oh my goodness, the weather has changed so drastically here. It's crazy. It's gone down by like 30 or 40 degrees just in a matter of days. It's so crazy and it's so much fun. I love sweaters and I am so excited that this is happening already. How is everyone doing? Tell me how things are going. And we're going to get started very quickly here. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Today's topic is awesome, and I can't wait to share it with you. How is everyone doing? Say hi. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Can you hear me all right? Are things good? Yes. All right. Well, let's get started then. People are trickling in and we're just going to get started. I can't wait to talk to you about today's show. So, yay.
Hey there, this is Tanya Wright from MasterTheMontessoriLife.com, the place for Montessori lovers ready to make themselves centered, organized Montessori guides, nurture happy, normalized children, and create smooth, successful Montessori days. Let's get you closer to your transformation today. Welcome.
All right, welcome to Master the Montessori Life Show. I am Tanya Wright, your Montessori coach, and I am here pretty much every week talking to you about a different Montessori topic each time. My goal is to get you closer and closer to your transformation as the Montessori guide, one training at a time, one lesson at a time. And that way you'll get to know me, you'll get to see my teaching style. And you know what? Every time you come to these weekly trainings, you will be able to walk away with some great information that you will be able to immediately turn around and apply that very day. If you want to, you can. So I am really excited about you being here and me being here to talk about this great topic. So first, I want to invite you to a couple of things, okay? First of all is the Facebook groups. We have the Natural Homeschool Community for all homeschoolers, whether you're doing Montessori or not. All homeschoolers are welcome to join. All you have to do is go to Facebook and then in the search window, type the Natural Homeschool Community and you will find it there, request to join. You will have access to all of the homeschool ideas, activities, other like-minded parents that are on there, homeschoolers. So it's a great, great opportunity to connect with others. And then if you are doing Montessori exclusively, whether you're homeschooling or not, it doesn't matter. Montessori is Montessori. If you're doing Montessori only, then join the Montessori Way Prep Room. That is a Facebook group. It is for Montessori only, and we do all things Montessori. So you get access to these live trainings. You get to get first view of any new activities, any new blog posts, any special announcements. Everything is there, including the Montessori Way Foundations workshop, which is a 5-day free workshop that I do about 2 or 3 times a year. And you get access to that in there as well. So join. All you have to do is go to Facebook, type it in, and you will find that group. Request to join. And then the next thing I want to show you is if you want to go to more of our live trainings, the past ones, I think today is episode 43. So you guys have a lot to catch up on. Every training is on a different topic, but they're all Montessori. So if you want to learn more and you want to take your time, go to the live trainings, then you will want to go to masterthemontessorylife.com/live-trainings. And there you can take your time and take a look at all of the trainings that I have done so far. Remember, we keep adding more and more each week because I do a live show every single week. Now, last announcement, okay? Last announcement. Join the emails because that is where I send you the reminders for these trainings. That way you don't miss a thing. You don't miss any special announcements. You don't miss any special resources, any freebies, any sales, anything that's going on, anything new. You won't miss out on it. If you go to masterthemontessorylife.com/emails, you can sign up. Or just go to masterthemontessorylife.com and then on the homepage you will see a red bar where it says join the newsletter, and you can join there as well. It's very, very easy, quick, simple, and I don't overwhelm you with a trillion emails. Don't worry. And I don't give your information to anyone either. I know that you're here to grow, and that's exactly what I use these emails for, just for your growth in the Montessori journey, okay? All right, so now that we have gotten all of the announcements out of the way, let's get started with our training. Today's topic is 3 must-have qualities in Montessori sensorial materials. You probably want to take notes on this one. This one is going to be very interesting. As an educator, a homeschool mother, and a Montessori coach, I am continually inspired by Dr. Maria Montessori's insight into paying attention to and tending to the education of the young child's 5 physical senses. Obviously, you know what the 5 senses are: the sense of sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch, right? This is done through activities in her subject called Montessori Sensorial. This is a unique and incomparable aspect of her method, the Montessori method, that I continue to be exploring and educating others on because it is so important. Keep in mind that no other educational method or philosophy focuses on sensorial or sensory education like the Montessori method does. Let me give you a quote by Maria Montessori herself. She said, "The senses, being explorers of the world, open the way to knowledge. Our apparatus for educating the senses offers the child a key to guide his explorations of the world." Sorry that I butchered that one. That's a good quote about the senses. She really felt that educating children in the senses to being more attuned to them was extremely important. In this training, I am going to be discussing 3 qualities that Montessori sensorial materials and lessons must have. So whether you are using the original Montessori sensorial materials, say the pink tower, the red rods, the brown stair, the knobless cylinders, and all of those, or you are making up your own, please keep these 3 things in mind because these are 3 must-have qualities that all sensorial materials must have. must have, okay? So pay attention to that. Number 1, let me show you the first slide. These must have quality. Number 1 is that they must notice the 5 senses. The 5 senses must be present, okay? For it to be a sensorial material, it has to be one that notices the 5 senses. Montessori identified a time in a young child's life in which it is acutely sensitive to the notions, experiences, and impressions received through the senses, right? We talked about the 5 senses. These very important open windows of opportunity is what she called the sensitive periods. We've talked a lot about these in the past, and I have some great sensitive period resources in the shop. It is shop.masterthemontessorilife.com if you want to learn more. It is the sensations obtained through the 5 senses. The senses of taste, touch, sight, smell, and hearing that create the shape a child's knowledge of his or her environmental world in a physical way that connects to other aspects. So it's not just about the physical aspect of the sensorial exploration. It also has to do with psychological, social, and so much more. Just think about how the senses help with the physical. It starts with the physical, but it actually goes into so many other areas. We're going to be discussing more about these examples in a little bit. The wonderful Montessori sensorial materials are to be present in all Montessori environments. You can see on the slide a picture of some of them. You can see the knob cylinders, you can see the pink stair, the pink tower, the brown stair, and so on and so forth. They are to be present to children in the way that Maria Montessori saw best, by studying her writings in detail. So you really do want to study what she said about these sensorial materials before just throwing it out into your environment. All right, using the Montessori sensorial materials in your Montessori environment, you may isolate certain aspects of the stimuli and create a sensory perception of them for the child. Did you know that the Montessori sensorial subject encompasses or includes 9 categories? Yes, it's 9 categories. You can't just say, oh, I'm just putting out a sensorial material and call it a day. You want to be well-rounded. You want to not focus too much on one, for example, the visual, and ignore the other 8. I know that I said there were 5 senses, but if you break up those 5 senses into different categories, Maria Montessori came up with 9 categories. Okay, I will discuss more about those 9 categories right around point number 3. So stay tuned, stay with me. Children make connections as they study the content and build their own knowledge that sets this method of education apart from all the others after the original presentation of the sensory materials or sensorial materials. A quote by Maria Montessori is, "Education should no longer be mostly imparting of knowledge, but must be a new path, seeking the release of human potentialities." When Maria Montessori said this, she meant so many things, but in applying it to the sensorial materials, you can see that it applies so well. We're not just giving children information. We are actually tracing new paths in their lives, in their brains, in their learning patterns. So we are seeking the release of human potentialities. Point number 2 is that Montessori sensorial materials must have the quality of experiencing the 5 senses. So not just noticing the 5 senses, children must experience the 5 senses. On this slide, you see my children. I have 2 children, a son and a daughter, and they are here playing the silence game. The silence game is a sensorial Montessori activity that is so invaluable, guys, for so many reasons. I will talk more about that in a little bit. One of the most distinguishing characteristics of the Montessori environment is the emphasis focused on assisting the child in his or her pursuit of independence. It goes so opposite of what we are used to. Freedom is a term that is often used to define or identify the Montessori method of teaching, right? We always talk about freedom, following the child. It is common to hear about a child being given the freedom to choose and the fact that they may and should select anything they want within the Montessori environment. So there is no doubt that there is freedom in real Montessori settings. I know it goes against our natural grain. We are not used to it as individuals because of what society has taught us about traditional school. But we must give complete freedom to children to select their own work and to roam about. Remember that in order to be successful in gaining independence and for children to really be able to experience the 5 senses, a child should have the freedom to explore and choose his or her own works and have freedom of movement. They are not to be confined to a table or to a desk for hours on end. They should have freedom of movement. Experience the 5 senses. Think about that term. What does that entail? Think about that and come up with ideas. This allows for the child to explore and experience the 5 senses within the safe confines of the prepared environment. Guys, if you have taken any of my trainings, the free showinars or the workshops, or you have enrolled in the Montessori Way Foundations framework, you will know that I always say this. In Montessori, we, the Montessori guides, the adults in the room, the Montessori teachers, whatever you want to call us, we control the environment, the Montessori environment, not the child, right? Here's a quote by Maria Montessori. The environment must be rich in motives which lend interest to activity and invite the child to conduct his own experiences. So please keep in mind, when you set out the Montessori sensorial materials, you need to set them out to where you're well balanced within those 9 categories. I'm not saying you have to have all 9 categories present at all times in the Montessori environment. That would take up a lot of room. But what I am saying is that you need to keep in mind, have a list, and make sure that you're keeping all of those balanced, that you are presenting enough works for all the 9 categories at one point or another. And then you also have to make sure that you are letting the children actually experience these sensorial works. They're 5 senses. You're letting them experience the 5 senses. So I want to go into point number 3. But first, I want to tell you there is a way for you to shortcut your sensorial activities very quickly. I have a bundle. It's called the Montessori Sensorial Bundle. Number 1, because there are more coming and they're already in the works, but this is the first one. I really wanted you to be able to have access to this first one, and I will tell you why. It has more than 20 pages in PDF form. It includes the sensorial curriculum that I put together, and I will tell you about that in a second. It also comes with a printable binomial cube. It comes with the silence game cards. It comes with the matryoshka size sorting cards and the sound boxes vocabulary cards. Let me explain to you what that is just for a minute. So here is the Montessori Sensorial planner. Okay, here's the curriculum. And what the curriculum is that it covers the 9 categories that I told you in sensorial. So you will see the 9 charts. They are charts / lists, right? So you're going to see that you have the 9 categories for the sensorial subject. I explained to you right here what it is, what each one is. And then I give you a list of a bunch of activities that you can do that fall under that category for that sensorial, for that category, right? And then it is a chart. And here you will check off for each child when you have introduced it, when the child has practiced it, when the child has mastered it, and all of that. So there are different things that you will keep in mind, keep track of. This is keeping you super organized because not only did I separate them into the 9 categories, but I'm also giving you a bunch of ideas and activities that you can do for that category. So if you're going to be planning your Montessori shelves and it's time for you to plan your Montessori sensorial works, you will say, okay, I'm going to set out 3 Montessori works for the auditory category, right? And then the next week, you will look at the next category. You will check these off. You will have a check for each child so you can keep track where each child is. And then the next week, you will say, okay, I'm going to focus on this category. And then the following week, the 3rd category until you're done with all 9. Or you could just do 1 work for each category. If you have an entire shelf for sensorial, you could do 1 Montessori work for each of the 9 categories if you have room for 9 works. So that is a great way of setting it up as well. The other thing so you get this with the Montessori Sensorial Bundle number 1. You also get the printable binomial cube. Sorry, I'm not showing you very well. I will move a little bit better. So you get the sensorial binomial cube. I know that it can be expensive and I know that it can be very bulky, but there's a way to make it printable. So you would print these out on cardstock and you put them together, and it's just as if you had a binomial cube, but it is so much cheaper. And so you get that, and it is a great way to cover some of those Montessori categories. Then you have the silence game cards. The silence game is where you're going to go to different places, and you're going to be in complete silence for about a minute or 2, and you're going to close your eyes and focus solely on what you can hear with your eyes closed and then with your eyes open. And this gives you some inspiration, and you fill this out for the different places that you go. we have done it many, many times with my children. We have gone to the desert. We have gone to the lake. We have gone to the ocean, to the beach. We have gone to the dunes, even. We have gone to a busy area in the city. We have gone to a farm. We have gone to so many places. And it's so interesting how we notice all of the different sounds and all the different things that we notice in the different places. This is a great sensorial activity that you can do when you need a change of scenery or when you need to bring more awareness into the auditory category. Here's another activity that comes with a bundle. You have the matryoshkas, and we know that one of the sensorial categories is being able to sort things by size, by weight, by temperature, by different things, right? So one of them is size, and I made these cards for the matryoshkas. The children will learn to sort by size, but they will also learn vocabulary for sizing. So you can expand your lesson into several, actually. You can definitely use this one for a bunch of different things. And another activity that you have are the vocabulary cards for the sound boxes. The sound boxes. So you have the sound boxes, or you make your own. You can get, if you go to, say, the dollar store, or you go to Goodwill or somewhere, you get some salt and pepper shakers, hopefully the ones that you can't see through, and you fill them up with different things. You can fill them up with sand or salt, and then you just vary. Sometimes you mix a little bit of sand and a little bit, a few pebbles or some gravel. So you vary all 6. You need 12, actually, 2 of each, and you try to make 2 of each that are identical, and children are supposed to match those up by sound. Well, you can do that. That's one part of the activity, but another part is where you teach them the vocabulary words so they can actually express what they are doing and what they are hearing. When you teach them those words and they know how to express them, then they are mastering those areas in the sensorial curriculum, and you can check them off on the chart. So, like I said, it comes with 5. This bundle comes with 5 activities, well, 4 activities plus the curriculum. So all you have to do is go to shop.masterthemontessorilife.com, shop.masterthemontessorilife.com, and then you're going to search for sensorial bundle in the search window. That is the easiest way to find it, really. So let me share with you really quickly. Let me share with you the screen. And here it is. Okay. So can you see the website? I'm going to make it bigger so you can see. Okay, so here is shop.themontessorilife.com. This is what it looks like. And all you have to do is come here to the search window and type in sensorial and then search. And it will bring you to all of our resources that have to do with sensorial, okay? There's the digital book, there's the curriculum, here's the checklist, here are the color boxes, there's the bundle. But this is the one, the Montessori Sensorial Bundle 1. This is the one that I'm talking about today. So you're going to go up here to the search window, type sensorial, then search, and you're going to find it right there. Okay, so that is what you're going to be looking at. That's how you go to it. You go to shop www.masterthemontessorilife.com and type in the search window sensorial. All right. So that is how you're going to find it. And if you want any digital books and it's your first time getting a digital book, then you will want to use the code WELCOME20 and you will get 20% off your first digital book. All right. So this is what this bundle, it's over 20 pages in PDF form. So you can print the curriculum out for every child that you are working with and keep track of the Montessori works in the sensorial subject that they are going through. Okay. Now let's go to point number 3. Point number 3 is you let the children actually categorize it using their 5 senses. Dr. Maria Montessori, the mastermind behind the Montessori philosophy of education, saw the development of a child as a whole process that is to be valued and respected. Remember, we follow the child. The conventional transfer of certain predetermined abilities and perhaps information did not apply to her schooling in any way. I am referring to traditional schools. I've talked about this in a lot of my trainings. This is where, when I say traditional schools, I mean that the teacher is the center of attention and all the knowledge comes from the adult in the room. As an alternative, Maria Montessori urged Montessori guides, the teacher, that's you, to focus on the child's potential and interests and to build on them. This is done by implementing a child-centered approach, not a teacher-centered approach. As a result, the Montessori philosophy fosters a lifelong love of learning, as well as a sense of wonder and a profound respect for the environment in which we live. Through the Montessori prepared environment and you, the trained Montessori guides, children may realize their own potential rather than through hearing about it from others. They actually get to notice the 5 senses, experience their 5 senses, and categorize their 5 senses. Every child is challenged and given chances to develop qualities such as flexibility, creativity, making connections and relationships, categorizing, among other things. Imagine a child that not only notices the differences in temperature of things, but can actually verbalize those because they know the vocabulary for those, but they also know the dangers, the limitations of dealing with the different extreme temperatures. This is just an example, guys. There are 9 categories in the Montessori Sensorial subject, and that is why I put together the Montessori Sensorial curriculum, because it helps you to keep the children well-rounded and educated in all the 9 categories. As they categorize through analysis, children acquire working theories, the ability to problem solve, and a sense of the world around them as a result of experimenting with a variety of learning materials and activities, which they try out for themselves. That is the whole point of sensorial materials. They have to be hands-on. They have to appeal to the senses. Let me share with you one last quote by Maria Montessori. She said, "We shall walk together on this path of life, for all things are part of the universe and are connected with each other to form one whole unity." So as children learn about these 9 categories in the Montessori sensorial subject, they're going to get a better sense of the world around them. Now let's talk about your key takeaways for today. Sensorial activities are those that target the 5 senses, so they make sense of the world around them. This includes visual discrimination through sensorial experience in the Montessori classroom and 8 more categories, not just visual, but including visual. As they grow, the child is developing a more refined idea on how much their sense of touch, sight, hearing, smell, and taste can do for their understanding of the world around them. So please set up a sensorial area on the shelves in your Montessori classroom. You can combine subjects. If you say, oh, I don't have a lot of room, you can combine sensorial activities with other Montessori subjects, such as practical life. Montessori Sensorial and Practical Life are 2 unique subjects to the Montessori method, and they actually work really well together. So let me give you the link to this resource where you can find all of the resources that I was just now talking about. Okay, because I want you to go there. I'm going to post it in comments. If you're in the group, I'm going to post it as a banner so you can see it. It's very easy. You're going to go to masterthemontessorilife.com/sensorial-qualities. And there you're going to see all of the resources that I was talking about and more that have to do with the sensorial subject, okay? So it has today's notes, but also resources that you will find helpful, okay? masterthemontessorilife.com/sensorial-qualities, because we talked about 3 must-have qualities in Montessori sensorial works, right? So just to round off and to finish off today, I want to just remind you about this resource, okay? You're going to go to shop.thenaturalhomeschool.com, and you're going to find or search in the search window for sensorial, and you will find all of the sensorial resources that we have. This is called Montessori Sensorial Bundle 1. There are more coming. I'm working on them, and you will be able to find it there. It's easier to go to shop.masterthemontessorilife.com than to enter this whole entire link on the screen. So just go to shop.masterthemontessorilife.com and search sensorial. Super easy and simple, right? All right. I hope that this has helped you. I think that you can actually turn around and get this done. You can make a difference today, and you will be one step closer to your Montessori success. I want you to grow and flourish and be everything that you can be as a Montessori guide by helping transform these wonderful children into world changers. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next week with another awesome topic. Bye for now.
I appreciate you sharing time with me today. You have tons of choices about what you're listening to, and I love that you chose Master the Montessori Life Show. Thank you. Well, that's it for today. Until next time, this is Tanya Wright with masterthemontessorilife.com. I hope that you will take the time to digest the training to create solutions that will bring about smooth, successful Montessori days for you. Let's get you closer to that transformation today.